Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Well, since 3/4 of the world is currently in quarantine, I thought today let's do a lesson. So turn off Netflix, grab your laptop, and let's learn something new together. Today, I'm going to write a Visual Studio Code extension. Now I use Visual Studio Code daily for work, and I rely on several extensions to help me get that done. Some check for syntax errors, some of them auto-format my code for me, and in other cases, I live share my screen with my coworkers, so then we can kind of debug some code live right there in front of us. So the list goes on. Now that being said, I have very little experience with Visual Studio Code extensions, myself developing them. I've fixed a few here and there, but I've never actually written one entirely from scratch. So today I'm going to build a very basic Visual Studio Code extension, no help at all, probably just a hello world example, going through the documentation, go through in a couple of hours and see what happens. And then a few of my colleagues have recommended a few extensions that I should take a look at. So we'll go back and we'll take a look at those extensions, see how they're built, learn a few things and a few tricks along the way, and then we'll come back and try and build another extension, probably better than the first one that we built. Visual Studio Code extensions are written in TypeScript. Now, I have some experience with TypeScript because I've contributed a few fixes here and there to some extensions, but I don't have that much, so we'll see what goes on. All right. So let's dive right into it.
All right, so let's get started here. So we'll start off just by going on through the Azure documentation and let's see what's on there. There we go. So this documentation describes how to build, run, debug, test, and publish an extension. That's exactly what we're looking for. So I see a great big get started button. Let's click that. Make sure you have Node.js and Git installed, and install Yeoman and VS Code extension generator. So let's take our good old friend npm and the terminal emulator. Do I have npm on here? No. Oh, brew install npm. Ah, there we go. So let's try this again. All right, so now we have Yeoman installed. So let's start a project. We'll go into a code directory that I have. And let's do a yo code. Let's say yes. So we're going to do a new extension that is written in TypeScript. So we like TypeScript. Name of our extension. Oh, hello world. The identifier. Hello world. It's a description. Prints. Hello world. And yeah, we'll initialize a Git repository and we'll use yarn because I like yarn. But you can use which one you prefer. So now we'll go into the hello world directory and open up in code. Well, I don't have VS Code as a thing over here, so we'll just open up Visual Studio Code and open up a new window. And here we are. So we've got our Hello World project. So inside the editor, press F5. This will compile and run the extension in a new extension development host window. So I hit F5. Ooh, fancy. And then if I do Shift Command P, yeah, on Mac. And then if we do, is it Hello World? Well, that was easy. Well, this video is already done. See what else we can do here. So developing the extension, we can change the message from hello world to hello VS Code and extension.ts. So if we go to the extension, this is source extension. Let's go hello YouTube. And then we'll hit F5 again to open it up. Shift Command P to open the palette window, and then we'll hit the hello world. That was actually a really lovely, refreshing change for once to have documentation that's really quick and get started. All right, so here's some ideas for you to try. Give the hello world command a new name in the command palette. All right, let's try the first one first. Register the command extension.hello world. So that's the extension command name, but that's not the actual name that we change it to. So I think it's going to be, here it is. In your package.json, there is a contributes commands, which I'm assuming that VS Code understands and is able to figure out. So this is the command in the palette that we're trying to register, as well as the title. So if we change this to hello YouTube, like we did in the alert, And if we run F5 again, we should see that. Shift Command P. Hello, YouTube. Nice. All right, we're getting places. So that was the first part. So we've got an actual VS Code extension to work with here. Now we're actually going to try and take a look at a couple of coffee time. They recommended that I take a look at a VS Code extension that one of them recently wrote called Porter. Now, Porter is a CLI tool that basically allows you to bundle a whole bunch of different objects together inside of a container and run that. But basically, it's a declarative way to do that. And if you go to porter.sh, it'll tell you more about it, so you can deploy everything together. So there's that. But we're going to take a look at the VS Code extension. We're not too concerned about Porter, maybe a little bit, but we want to take a look at how the project is built, how it works, see if there's anything that we need to do. Oh, it looks like it has telemetry. Wow. That's actually quite handy too. Let's see what that does. So we'll copy that, and then we will go and clone this. So I like to look at the README first to see what's going on here. So you need the Porter binary on your system path. If you don't have this, you can download it from Porter. If you have the Porter binary but it's not on your path, you can specify the file path. Blah, 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 blah. So it actually interfaces directly with a binary that is already installed on there, which is nice. Because then all the extension has to do is take that input and output and figure out what it needs to do. So basically, it's just building a UI on top of the binary, and then it's providing some telemetry data so we can figure out what commands are being used inside of the editor. So it's just looking at what actions are being done on the command palette, which could actually be really helpful to figure out who and what is being used in your project. I'm really interested in this telemetry data, so let's take a look at that. So there's a telemetry reporter, which is given by a VS Code extension telemetry library, which is nice. Okay. So that's in your package. That's a dependency, I'm assuming. This module provides a consistent way for first-party extensions to report telemetry over application insights. So somewhere inside of this project is a app insights key, a public key, basically. So then all the telemetry data that we need to send for the project is being sent up to Azure Application Insights. And then your commands. So we have an insert Helm chart. Okay, so it's a function. So it's supposed to return a promise of a command result. You find the active text editor. If it's not an active text editor, then you show an error message. So basically this is, you can only run the insert Helm chart command if you have an open window on a porter.yaml. Okay. So based on where they are inside of it, we can inject something new into there. Yeah, install a Helm chart, the name. While this isn't necessarily important to us to figure out what is Helm and what is Porter, what's important that we're taking back from here is we're able to read a file. We're able to parse it. When we're finished the parsing and everything else, we can start injecting information into there and actually make our lives easier. So we can actually install and inject code snippets. Okay, I think I've gotten a pretty good high-level overview of what we're doing here, or at least what this VS Code extension is trying to do and what it does. And it's got quite a lot of really helpful commands over here. I think what I'm going to try to do today is I'm going to take, not the telemetry, because that's going to require me to spin up Azure App Insights, and that's going to take a little while. But I can take a look at these move steps and the insert Helm chart stuff here and see if I can actually inject data into another file. So let's try that. Okay, so we'll copy this code here. This seems mostly important because we want to figure out if we have an active text editor, as well as what the document is and the file name that we're trying to find. We don't need the AST because we're not parsing any document here, But it would be helpful to figure out what file we're in so we can figure out, like, say, the extension. So I think what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to write a extension that will just write hello world into a document and make sure and do some validation to see if it's a text file. I think that's really going to be an easy one to do. So we'll try that. So we'll go back into our hello world one here. Okay. So we don't need this anymore, but first we'll dump this code. And then we will remove this command entirely. So we don't need that anymore. We don't need that from the package. So we can stop registering that, and we can remove the show time. So now let's go back into here. So this was a helper. These command result failed. Returning a failed. It was a non-zero exit code, if I remember. We'll change that. And then we want to find if it's a text extension, because we don't want to be writing into other ones. We just want to dump hello world in there, or hello YouTube. So we will do the snippet string is going to be hello YouTube. We've got our snippet. Now we need the cursor position and the cursor line for this one. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So we can basically, now what we're going to do is we've got a hello world extension. When we have an open editor, it can only be a txt file, and then we'll insert hello YouTube wherever the cursor is in the document. All right, let's try this out. So if we try this without anything, we'll get an error message. This command requires an open editor. Okay, so we'll create a new command, or create a new file. And if we try it again, we don't have a txt extension on here. So if we save this file immediately, and if we go hello YouTube.txt, now if we try the hello YouTube, hello YouTube. If we go in the middle of the screen, yeah, it injects right there. And we get a nice little information message. Well, that was fun. I'm glad we got that done.
All right, well, that was great. We managed to be able to build an entire Visual Studio Code extension from scratch and in a couple of hours' time. So I hope you enjoyed this content. If you did, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, then leave a thumbs down and leave a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.